Are we live?
We're live.
All right,
Yeah,
we're live.
We are live. Hi guys, welcome to Lunchtime with Lombardi. I'm Emily. I'm a sophomore in the hotel school, and I am the student campus life intern.
And our host. Today, we're gonna have a great time. My name is Ryan Lombardi. I'm the vice president for student and campus life. It's great to see you all today. I hope that you're enjoying the beautiful sunshine outside, which I have to admit, to this point, I have only seen, I have not experienced, but I'm hoping to get a little bit of that later on. I need to. Yeah. I need to. I think I get a chance to walk across campus in an hour or two. So
okay, that's good.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure to do it. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we have a few questions for you.
Okay.
And I'm going to start off with, what does a typical day in your work look like?
Well, as I just indicated, right, I'm in here an awful lot. This is my office that we're sitting in, just by the way. Yes, I have a very bright red wall behind me. That's not like a Cornell stage thing. We actually had it painted red by my choice. Just a little bit over on this side, which you probably can't see, there's a really cool seal to the Cornell seal.
It's very large.
Everyone comes in and does this first, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I'm in the, I have a lot of meetings every day, you know, a lot of meetings with other members of the senior administration, a lot of meetings with students, a lot of meetings with the student and campus life staff. A lot of them are here in my office or in the building, but I do move around sometimes. I have to go over to Cornell Health this afternoon for a meeting. That's when I said I'll get outside and get a little vitamin D. Yeah. But I, you know, as many meetings as possible to try and think about different policies or directions or ways that we can better support the student experience. Every day is a little different later in the day too. There's a lot of times programs, events that I try to go to and show my face at or engage with students.
That's a good mix of, you know, everything.
It's a little bit of everything. Events, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of everything. No 2 days are the same, I will say that. I mean, it's always something different, which I like. I mean, it keeps it fresh for sure. And there's, you know, look, there's great programs on campus too. The same stuff you might go and say, hey, I want to go to this concert. That could be part of my job too.
Okay.
And go to that concert. That's right. Or a sporting event, or, you know, an a cappella show or something like that. So
sounds like a lot is going on in your life. And so I guess in line with that, how do you de-stress and how do you just take a step back and, you know, restart again?
How do I de-stress? Well, look, I have 2 young kids. My daughters are 9 and 11. And so they kind of force me to de-stress, right? Because when I walk through the door, they're, you know, stress is not relevant to them at this point in their lives, right? All they know is like fun and pull out and what we can do to, you know, kind of have fun and play around. So last night when I got home, I was trying to think. My one daughter was doing gymnastics in the living room constantly and wanted to show me all the new moves that she could do. She was doing cartwheels and handspring or round offs or something. I'm not a gymnast. Was it? Yeah. So, so, you know, for me, I do have to work intentionally to manage stress. I mean, I have a handful of other things I do in all seriousness, but, you know, having an outlet with the kids, with my family, to spend some time with them and really carving that time out. I try to get up in the morning and move a lot. I wake up very early in the morning, usually between 5 and 5:30, and I try to get my body moving as much as I can early in the morning too, even before the kids wake up and getting them off to school.
Just have that alone time.
You know, just reflect a little bit. I have to read. I read a lot of news and stuff in the morning to kind of get up to speed on the day. I think we all have to own that our lives are kind of, we ebb and flow. There are times of the year where I don't manage my stress very well, and I really struggle and try to keep my mental health in a good place. There are other times when I'm better at that. It just depends on what's going on in the personal life, what's going on in the work life. I think we're all human in that regard, and it's not always an imperfect equilibrium. I mean, there's often kind of peaks and valleys that we're working through, and just trying to recognize when those are and then addressing the issues is kind of the way I try to approach it. So how about you? I mean, you're as a student, I'm just curious, have you come up with tactics, and how do you manage the stress? You're a hotelier, it's your sophomore year, you're engaged in a lot of extracurricular activities, you're working in student campus life as a, you know, like, how do you manage all this too? How do you balance it?
For me, I take it 2 ways. Either I go out and, you know, talk to friends and you know, go over my issues and be able to just see their side of the coin and just see like how I can really take that in and you know, take a step back and refresh. And on the other aspect, I like to journal a lot and just like, reflect upon my own thoughts then and just be undisturbed in my thoughts and be able to really just hammer what I'm trying to, you know, get across and what I'm trying to get towards.
Do you write or type a journal?
I like to write.
I write the old school, like, yeah, okay.
I have like the leather bound notebook.
Oh, cool.
It's it's been my.
Has that been something you've been doing for a while?
Yeah, I've actually done so ever since junior high school actually.
Okay.
So I have like a small collection of journals.
You have
back
those
at home.
under lock and key, or what? Are these super private, or what?
I have it out in my room at home. I hope no one's looking through it. That would be bad. But,
any family members watching?
Oh God. Hi, Mom. Hope you're not looking through them.
Sure, they're respecting your privacy, and that's really cool though. Journaling. I wish I don't. I think a lot, but I don't often, kind of translate into the written. So
I think it helps a lot with
you.
just like, seeing how you've progressed throughout the week or like throughout the months, looking at just the trends that you go through, maybe some certain, patterns that you have and just trying to fix upon that. Journaling is very, very effective for that in my opinion.
That's good. So. It's a good way of reflection. Yeah. So can I flip one on you here a little bit and ask you a question?
Okay.
I'm gonna throw this off a little bit.
Go ahead.
The live audience is okay with that. So you've been pretty engaged in campus, and you shared with me you live on West Campus in Keaton House. Yeah, Keaton.
Oh yeah.
You've been doing some other cool things with your kind of spare time. So what if you were yourself last year coming in as a first-year student, or if you were talking with other students that are thinking about how to get involved and how to kind of make the most of their experience, any advice that you would give them? I have a perspective on this, which I'm happy to answer, but I'd be curious the student perspective on this.
For me, I think a lot of the older members within Cornell, people who've had experiences on campus and with the activities that are going on just around Cornell in general, just having to, hear their experience and see how I can take away from that and being able to, bring that into my own life, see what they're up to and be like, oh, maybe that's something that I'm interested in and get involved that way. I think another great way to just, get involved and like be able to see what's really going on in campus is actually following Cornell Student Campus Life on Instagram and Facebook.
That's a plug.
That's a plug for you guys to, make some moves right now. Go to Cornell Student Life on Instagram, and on Facebook it's called Cornell Student Campus Life. We have all the events going on throughout Cornell. We try to include as many events as possible from a whole variety of parts of student campus life, which is very, very broad. So you can definitely go and just check out what you like and what you don't like, and just go out and see. Yeah, there's so many options out there.
So you told me, well, I appreciate that plug. I would second the plug, by the way. But you told me about one organization that I'm familiar with that you're a part of. I know you're in a number, the Wardrobe. This is where you provide clothing for students who might need access to either professional clothing, winter clothing, these types of things. So is that how you learned about that from other students, from upper level students when you came in? Is that how you got involved in the Wardrobe?
Yeah.
And I'd be curious, then tell me about some of the initiatives that group is working on.
Yeah, so I have some older members within that club that I really just respect, and I, love their work ethic and love the work that they do. And personally, Wardrobe for me is a way to give back to the community. Giving clothing and now winter clothing. In the future.
This is new, right?
Yes,
that you're going to do winter. That's great.
To just give back to the community and be able to introduce resources that they previously didn't have access to. And also just having some of my friends within the club as well talk about their experiences, and getting involved with that was something that I could take away from and use in my interview, and eventually I got in and now I'm involved, and I just really love how the Wardrobe plays a part in student campus life.
Terrific. I think Emily has all the best advice here. It's student to student in terms of how to make the most out of your experience. I would echo a lot of what she said. Make sure that you look to your peers, look to the people who are here, have been succeeding, doing well. I tend to, especially as a student first comes in, suggest that they don't get involved in too many things, like focus on just a couple things at first until you kind of get the lay of the landscape at Cornell, get your academics under control, make sure you're in good shape. A lot of students who come to Cornell, they were in high school, they were involved in 10 different things, right? Because they're super high achieving. Yeah, exactly. And so, I always say when you come in, pick a couple of things. Don't feel like you have to do everything. Pick a couple of things, but maybe commit yourselves to them a little more meaningfully than what you're accustomed to, and go a little bit deeper into that in terms of impact. So that's great advice. And frankly, be willing to try stuff and let it go. If you align yourself with an organization that you think is going to be a great fit, and maybe it is for a period of time, maybe it isn't. Either way, don't feel like you're locked into that for 4 years, right? You can ebb and flow. That's right, exactly. Try different things. Go into some stuff that's outside of your comfort zone that isn't something you did before in high school. Or
I think something that's really important to recognize is that junior year is never, it's not a cutoff where you can just you can continue things throughout your junior year and senior year. I think a lot of people believe that once you get to junior, it's like, oh, I can't do anything else. Like clubs don't want me anymore. That's definitely not true. There are definitely things out there that you can explore personally and professionally. And
so one thing I say to seniors a lot, I appreciate you bringing that up. I often will meet with seniors, students who are in their last year here, and at the beginning of the year, and they'll say, oh, it's my last year. I'm so bummed about that. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, hold up. Just remember, you have 25% of your Cornell experience left. It's not like you're done. You still have a quarter of this incredible experience remaining. So make the most of it. Don't immediately look to the path. And this is a thing that for me, it's taken a number of years. I won't name how many years exactly it's taken me to realize this, but you know, if you spend your whole life kind of looking to the next thing, there gets to be a point in life where you're like, okay, like what the next thing isn't as important as what I should have been focusing on right now. And understandably, when you're high school, college, and even early in your career, that's often the focus, that you're kind of thinking about what's next. You know, how am I going to continue through college? How am I going to graduate, get a job? And then when I get a job, how am I going to have success and make a difference in the organization I'm a part of? But there comes a point when you just need to slow it down a little bit and enjoy the moment you're in and treasure it for what it is. And I worry about us not doing that as a kind of as a collective.
I think Cornell is kind of perpetuating that, but at the same time, just being able to, you know, take a step back and recognize your own achievements and what you've been doing on campus, and you know, taking that forward and realize, you know, your passions within that, and just continue through the activities that really just speak out to you and just bring personal meaning to your life.
That's right. Yeah. Great advice. You're much wiser than I was when I was in college, so you're in good shape. Yeah. No question about it. Yeah.
But the next question that we have is from a student who is personally struggling with life after Cornell. She says, I'm graduating this year and I'm not sure what I want to do after graduation. What advice do you have?
That's a tough one. I mean, I go back to an experience I had for myself, and this doesn't apply to everyone. I recognize the identities I carry, I recognize the position I'm in, but I was struggling with the same thing as I was going off to college, and everything that had given me kind of a reason to be, and it had really fulfilled my spirit up to that point, had been music. Yet as I was on the eve of going to college, I was really thinking that I wanted to study business because this seemed like the logical thing to do, right? And the thing that you're supposed to do. It just so happened that one of my parents had worked in business, and I saw that as, you know, a way to get to a good middle class life. I thought that would be great. And my parents both looked at me and said, like, what are you thinking? Like, why would you do that? You're so passionate about music, and that has literally helped you build confidence and kind of become who you are. You should pursue that. And I immediately went into the space of what I was just telling Cornell students, like, well, what will that mean, right? If I go and become a musician, like, what's the outcome? Where do we go from there? And they said, that'll come. Like, the point was, if you're good at what you do and you're committed and you're passionate about what you do, that'll figure itself out. Again, I recognize that's easier said than done, and I also recognize there's certainly a level of privilege that comes with being able to take that approach. You know, if someone's in a position where their whole family's resting on their hopes of being here at Cornell, and you know, this being kind of a generational change, that's a different, you know, and I totally acknowledge that. But in the same spirit, I would say the fact that this person who asked the question, who is at Cornell, is about to graduate with a degree from Cornell, they are already in the most rarefied air of like success in this world, and access to incredible resources, incredible network. And I think it will work out. That's a pretty simple way to say. I would encourage them to utilize the network that we have. We have a great new program through Cornell Career Services called CU eLinks. It's a network between students and alumni, and so they should get involved in there. Talk to as many people in different industries as possible to learn about what they do and their paths, and just soak it all in. That is one of the benefits of being at a place like Cornell, is the connection to all these great alumni that we have out there. 200 and some thousand, exactly. And so that would be my advice. I mean, I know for seniors, because I talked to enough of them, that there becomes this like, oh, I've got a job here, I'm doing this, I'm going to grad school, and if you're not yet figured that out, that can feel really tough. I would encourage students not to kind of let that be a barrier and let that shut you down, but really to just embrace that you're in this moment, you're going to work through this. You may end up in a much better place than everybody else, because you'll figure this out, and it'll be on your clock and in the way that you want to do it. So so that would be a little bit of my advice. I don't know. I mean, you're still a couple of years off from this, I know, but does that resonate at all?
It definitely resonates with me.
Does it?
I think I'm still also like currently seeking what I really want to do. And I think the resources that and the advice you mentioned are very, very helpful for that. And so I'll take that into account when I go through my Cornell career.
You know, it's interesting. I worked at a university once that actually didn't allow students to choose a major until their second year there. Okay. So that's so different from Cornell, right? Where you apply to a college and you kind of come in like boom, right out of the gates. And so it had its own challenges. I was an academic advisor there as part of my job, and so it had its own challenges. But I really appreciated that ethos of you don't have to make these decisions when you're in high school, when you're in college. That you really have time to work it out and figure these things out. And the student, I'm certain they're going to be a-okay. I know enough Cornell students to know that they're going to be awesome. No question.
Yeah, and I also heard that a high percentage of students actually change their major, and so it's
absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you should just explore and take into consideration. Changing from something that you might not be interested in to something that you might end up doing for the rest of your life, which is awesome.
And not only do a lot of people change their major, but a lot of people when they're gone from school change their career. It's not common anymore. That's right. To go in and say, I'm going to do this, and then 35 years later you're retiring from that. That just isn't the way the world works anymore. I mean, the economy, the way things play out. We know students, people who are in the workforce are having 6, 7 different careers, not jobs, careers. And so you shouldn't feel like you've got to have it all figured out when you're 22, 23 years old, getting ready to finish up at Cornell, or 21, however old they are. So cool.
I'll move on to my.
All right,
question.
Sounds good.
What is your favorite cafe on campus? This one's a little.
Oh, my favorite cafe. So this is really situational. I'm going to ask you this one too, so you better be prepared. Okay. This is somewhat situational for me. I would say the place I eat lunch most frequently, if I don't pack a lunch, which I do often, would be over at Sage Atrium. I'm pointing because it would just be that way from my office. It's pretty quick. They've got a lot of options. The staff there is wonderful. Really, shout out to our Cornell dining staff. If I'm here for my number 2 on that is the Ivy Room. My number 2 lunch spot is the Ivy Room over in Willard Strait.
Very, very close.
They're also conveniently close, right? I usually don't have a lot of. We talked about meetings. I usually don't have a lot of time. I will say for dinner options. If I'm eating dinner on campus, that often means my kids have come to campus and they're going to an event with me or something like that, which I try to do. They love the Ivy Room, lots of choices. They love, my daughters both love RPCC and Appel. They love North Campus.
Me too.
Do you?
I love both of them.
They're both in a summer camp at Cornell, and in the summer the kids, they eat lunch in there, and they think it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, it is a buffet, honestly.
This is unique for them. They don't get a buffet at home, right?
That was
they
me coming into Cornell.
Was it?
Every day, just eating buffets on North Campus. Yeah.
So what is your favorite cafe on campus or place to eat?
Well, since I'm a hotelier, I definitely have to plug Max Cafe. It has a great variety of foods, and also the smoothies are amazing. If you haven't tried it,
are they?
Definitely recommend it.
I love smoothies, and I haven't had them at Max.
Really?
Okay.
You should
I need to check this out. Okay.
Green smoothie. And
green smoothie.
There's all the flavors are amazing.
Green means there's vegetables in it?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
But they make it so well. I'm not
sure
really?
How
they just are able to combine like fruits and vegetables together, and it tastes really, really
I'll try it, but I have to say I have an aversion to any smoothie with vegetables in it. Not because I've tried these things and I don't like them. It's an irrational aversion, and where I just have a perception that it wouldn't be good.
What if I didn't tell you there was vegetables?
But I would see it as green, right? It's probably still green, and I would probably guess that it's green.
Like, ew, spinach.
But this is like the kid version of me, right? So one of my children is very picky with her food, and she, I'm like, just try it, right? And here I am saying, like, I would have this irrational aversion to it. So Max, okay, I don't eat there often. I have a couple times when like the terrace is too busy, which is all the time. The terrace is too busy. Go around there. I do eat lunch at Banffy's a lot too. My lunch meetings are often at Banffy's.
That's amazing.
So I see a lot of hotels. They do,
And the hotels, run it.
Well, I love the hotels. Have you done or will you do a thing at establishment, like prepare a meal?
That'll be me next semester, I believe.
In the junior year, fall junior year? Okay.
And I'll be, doing some sort of thing. I'm not too sure yet. It's pretty far in the future, but I'm very, very much.
Will you invite us, the SCL team?
Oh my God.
I've had students invite me before, and I go to their meal at establishment. It's super good.
I'll put you on the guest list.
I was just talking to someone the other day too who is an alum, works in the area here, a friend of mine, and I was saying, have you ever eaten at the establishment? And they were like, no, what is this? And they didn't even know about it. So I was suggesting they check it out sometime.
Very different experiences each time. Each person and each team brings a different experience. Agreed.
Really. Agreed. So yeah, if there are other students watching, I'll take invites. I love the company. I still pay the bill. Like it's not like
you're right. It's not just like
it's not free food, but I love to go and support because I know this is a big deal for hoteliers. They have to come up with the whole thing.
Oh yeah, and it's very rewarding once it's done. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, very good. All right. Anything else? What are we?
We are approaching our last question.
Okay.
Time has flown by. What do you love to do in Ithaca during the spring?
Well, I love to thaw out from the winter. I love to see sunshine.
So just being outside is just
right.
So it's like a blessing, really.
That's right. Yeah.
So
what was
cold.
it like last Friday when it was?
That was
60 degrees or something, and people are already putting on shorts and stuff. My kids were super excited. Anything spring is great. It's a sign of summer to come. We love the summer in Ithaca. Of course, we live here year round. We work year round, but we spend a lot of time out on the water in the summer. My kids love being on the water. The lake.
VP Lake.
Yeah. No, the big one, Cuda Lake.
Cuda Lake. There we go.
Right, yeah.
I've definitely not explored
it. Yeah. Exactly. So, so we love. And for me, spring, I mean, with it staying late at night, even being able to just take a walk around the neighborhood with the dog after dinner or something like that, just being outside. Anything outside is good.
Oh, yeah.
The spring in Ithaca also means, kind of we're approaching the end of the semester. There are a lot of student activities, events, celebrations taking place, and I love going to those things. I always go to Slope Day. I'm out there for pretty much all day. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So all those kinds of things. What about you? What's your favorite thing about spring?
I love going to Live Slope and just being able to hang out with my friends, maybe even just get a little, journaling in there.
Okay.
Talking to friends and even doing my homework maybe. I think it's just
so is this just like chill out on Live and you like hang out, relax?
Maybe even bring a picnic there. Who knows? I might just do that
like
this
year. Go to Sage or Ivy Room and then go out.
Oh yeah, just like get your
or Max in your case, take your green smoothie out there.
Smoothie, just slurp it on the slope.
So is that you? Like people are just visiting, hanging out, studying, whatever, all of the above on Live Slope?
I would also say that I love going to Ithaca Commons and just exploring the little, restaurants and stores that they have. I know that there's so much more out there that I haven't seen, and I feel like it's a very like unique just place to be, and just being able to explore that is amazing.
There's a lot of cool stuff in Ithaca. Have you done any of the falls around here? Check out some of the falls. Yes. A lot of neat things. I mean, what a great place to live if you enjoy the outdoors and kind of being outside and appreciating the beauty of it. Yeah,
I've come to appreciate it.
Have you?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a great place. Yeah, I like to just move and be outside, so it's a good time. And every summer, I don't know if you know this, but one of the great things that people who work in Day Hall love, in the summertime, they put a hot dog cart out front. Oh. Yeah, and it's super exciting.
Okay.
And they sell hot dogs out of little this is the silliest thing, right? I mean, they're just hot dogs, but they sell them out there, so that's super fun in the summer too. And in fact, so part of this used to be all the admissions tours that happened, and they started here. Now they moved. I wonder if they'll still do the hot dog cart this summer.
They better.
I have to find this out.
Yeah, you
I know people who know people. We can probably figure this out.
He knows people.
I know people. I know you, and you can help us figure this out.
Oh, is the hot dog
Is the hot dog cart going to make an appearance back in summer 19? Because it sure needs to.
If you know anything about that, please let us know. You can comment live right now.
That's right.
We'll look at it.
Any tips and pointers on the hot dogs? Yeah, they have cheese, so they have all kinds of stuff. I usually just go with a plain hot dog, but it's
really a plain hot dog.
Lots of choices. I put a very thin line of ketchup on my hot dog. Very, very, very subtle. How about you?
I love just putting all the,
Oh, you load
relish,
it? You're one of those? You load is it spilling off of the hot dog when you bite it?
I think that's like the best type of hot dog. Yeah. My dad really just doesn't approve because he gets really salty, but I just, that's so good.
Very good. Very good. Awesome. Well, thank you. This is fun.
Thank you for having this with me.
Lunchtime with Lombardi.
I hope you guys really enjoyed this and got a little more insight into how VP Lombardi kind of thinks and operates and all that.
De-stresses.
De-stresses, what he does for fun. This was really fun. So we'll see you next time.
Thanks so much, Emily. We appreciate all you do for this campus and for student and campus life. And thanks for taking.
We all appreciate you. I think the Cornell community can say that. You've done so much great work on campus.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. It's a pleasure. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good day.